So today we are going to be wrapping up with the pen extension. So today is going to be really the last class that we're going to be doing this project. We will revisit in the future, but we're going to be wrapping that up today. We're going to do a couple more shapes, and then we have a mini project that we're going to get to. Just waiting for a couple more students to join, just so that I don't get started too early. So your homework was to draw 2 more shapes. If you haven't done that, that's totally okay. We're going to take a look at some other shapes that we can draw today. So it was just good practice for you to draw some shapes, kind of explore more with the pen. And then today we'll take a look at some other things that we can draw. I see a lot of you have your camera off, except Rebecca. Perfect. I see Roger. Awesome. Oh, there we go. There we go. Amazing. Okay, we're gonna get started in a minute. Yes, Selena.
I have a document camera on, so it just looks like I'm not looking at the screen.
I notice it is a different camera, but that's okay. I know you are looking at the screen. It's just probably so it's not attached to your computer. Is it like an extended camera?
It's a document camera attached to my computer.
I see. Okay, very cool. Kind of like a bird's eye view. Very cool. There we go. Okay, we're gonna get started. So I think all of you can see my screen, right? Okay, perfect. So I did share the Google Slides with all of you on the Google Classroom. So in case you want to check those out, that is posted. So let's take a look. We're going to draw a couple more shapes, then we're going to do a mini project. But let's take a look at the next shape that we're going to draw. So we're going to take a look at how we can draw a star. So this one's a bit of an interesting one. It is a bit tricky to figure out, but it takes a little bit of exploring to do. So what I'm thinking we can do is I'll give you a couple minutes to try and get that, or try to get as close as you can. And then we'll take a look as to how we can do that together in just a couple minutes. Selena, is your hand raised or?
It is.
It is, yeah. Do you have a question?
A second to adjust the camera.
Yes, for sure. Go ahead. So again, for those of you who missed it, your task is, so far this is what your project should look like. What is going on? There we go. Okay. So far we have these 3 shapes. We drew a square, we drew a circle, and we drew a triangle. So your next shape, try to draw a star. That's an interesting one. I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to do that. I'm going to take it up. We're going to draw 2 more shapes, and then we're going to do a mini project. So just to give you a couple of hints, your code will all technically, the structure of it looks the same. It's really this little portion. Let me draw it out. It's this little portion right over here that's going to be different. Aside from the coordinates, everything else is the same really for all the different shapes. So let's take a look. I'll kind of get you all started. So your first step would be to pick another sprite. So you could pick whatever it is that you like. I'm going to go into animals and I'm going to pick, let's do a little chick. Then I'll put him right here up on top. We're kind of stacking our animals. And I'm going to follow the same structure as last week. You could use your backpack if you like. That way you don't have to keep writing it out, but I'll kind of go through the steps just because it's been a week. So our first step is when green flag clicked, that's an event. We want our animal to be at a specific position every time we click the green flag. I'm going to go into motion and I'm going to drag, go to X, Y, this position. So even if I move my little animal, when I click the green flag, they all start in their correct positions. And I'm also going to point in direction 90, just to make sure that even after they finish the drawing, they're always going to face upright. Sometimes they're going to be upside down. And now our next step would be to go into events when this part is clicked. So this is where we actually do the shape drawing. I'm going to go into the pen extension and I'm going to set the pen color to something. You can choose whichever color it is that you want. I'm going to pick the same color as this little chick, kind of like a yellow color. I'm going to erase all. I'm going to bring my pen up and I'm going to go to the center of the screen. I'm going to go to 0, 0. Let me know if I'm going a little bit too fast, but we've just done, this is the same process that we've done for the crab, for the hedgehog, for the starfish. This should be all the same. So now once my chick, if I click green flag and I click on my chick, you see that he goes to the center. Now my next step is I need to put my pen down. I'm going to go into the pen. I'm going to pen down, right? Because we want to start drawing. And I'm going to give my pen a size. So make sure you're using the set pen size to whatever value. If you choose the change pen size by 1, it's going to keep increasing. So make sure you're doing set unless you want it to change. And now here is where the logic will go for the actual drawing. It would go here. But up until here, we've done this for every animal. So this is kind of like your base code, you could call it. So I'm going to give you all, let's see, 2 more minutes. Try to play around with the drawing, and then we're going to take up how to draw a star. That's probably my favorite shape, the star. And the star that we're looking to draw, just because we can't lift the pen up, is like this. And I'll kind of, this is a horrible drawing. Let me try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So this is kind of like the shape that we're going for. And I'll give you a couple hints. You're going to have to use a loop, a repeat block. And you're going to have to do it the amount of times that the pen, I guess the amount of sides that the star has. So if you notice, if I'm going to draw it out, I count it out. So I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that should be a hint for how many times you're going to loop, which is 5. And the idea is you want to move, you want to change the direction a little bit, move, change the direction a little bit, move, change the direction a little bit, move, change the direction a little bit, 5 times. That's going to give you the star. I'm going to give you guys 1 more minute. Has anybody gotten the star yet? Almost? Not really? So this one's a bit of a tricky one. Okay, let's take a look at it together. So, like I said, we kind of have these 5 sides. Typically, you want to look for kind of how you would literally draw it. That's kind of what helps me. So I see that when I draw the star, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times I change the direction. So that should be an indication of how many times I'm going to loop. So I'm going to go into control. And this is all kind of like trial and error. So for me, I also had to kind of figure it out. So I understand I need to loop 5 times. Right, so we need to repeat something 5 times. We're going to put it into a loop. And I'm going to move a certain amount of steps. So I'm going to do in motion, I'm going to do the move block, move. I'm going to do 150 steps. And I'm also going to turn, right? We have to turn a specific amount of degrees. Now this is kind of a trial and error, but we know we want to turn more than 90 degrees because we have kind of 90 degrees would be this kind of straight angle, but we are turning more. So I'm going to take the turn block and I'm going to say turn, and this is going to take a little bit of exploration. So let's take a look. I know it's more than 90, so let's try 100. what I'm trying to do right now is to kind of get that little sharp tip of the star. Right now, if I click the little chick, we see that that's not enough. We need to turn a little bit more. So I'm going to try 120. I'm also going to add a wait block. So I think it's a little bit too fast. I'm going to do wait right underneath here. Wait 0.5 seconds. So let's try that again. Not enough. That makes a triangle. So I know I need to turn a little bit more. Let's try 140. That looks a little bit more like it, but still not. I think I need to turn a little bit more. If I move the chick, you kind of see that it was kind of empty. So let's try 144. Now, when I click my try, you see it gives me my star. So it takes a little bit of exploration to kind of figure out. So now we're going to do, I guess, the rest of the structure. So this is the only new part, really. Now the rest we've done already a couple of times. So now what we want to do is we want to bring the pen up, right? We don't want to draw. We're going to bring the pen up, and we want our animal to go back to its initial starting point. I'm going to do pen up, and I am going to go to this initial direction. So I'm just going to duplicate this block. Duplicate. So now if we click, we see the chick goes back to its original starting point. And I'm going to say something. You don't have to do this part, but I'm going to say here's a star. There we go. Now we can test it out and we see here's the star. And all our animals work. You guys are very quiet today. Is everybody doing good so far? You guys are following along? Awesome. Okay, perfect. So that was an interesting shape. And now we're going to do two more very simple ones, and then we're going to move into a project. So your next shape to draw is a pentagon. Now I really want you guys to explore with using loops. So try to analyze. I'm going to give you guys 5-ish minutes to figure it out. Notice how many sides we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that should be an indication that I need to loop 5 times. Now next shape we're going to draw is a hexagon. So don't worry about that just yet, but if we take a look at the hexagon, we have that's not a very straight line. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to loop 6 times. You have to do a task 6 times, right? So let's start off with the pentagon. I'll give you a little hint. You want to loop 5 times. So I'll leave the code up for the chick in case you haven't gotten that. So here's the code. I'll leave that up. And then once you finish up with this code and it works, try to get the pentagon. And let me know if you have any questions. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you get the pentagon, let me know. This one's also an interesting one.
Can you go back to the
There you go.
star? The star again.
Yes, here's the star. see something in the chat. Can I just do 4 shapes? So, so right now you should be drawing a pentagon. So if you feel like it's too much, you could put the other animal on the, so you will need another sprite. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna choose, which one should I choose? Let's choose the dog. So I'm gonna make him a little smaller. Let's do like 80, no, it's still too big, 60. You can put the other animals on the right side of the page. Or you could just delete one of them. But I'm gonna put them on the right side of the page and we're gonna build out this side as well. So we have a bunch of shapes. It's too much. Okay, so you could delete then the other animals if you want. So these are posted on the Google Classroom. So if you want, you can create a new project as well. So you don't have to continue here. You can just create a new Scratch project, or you could delete them, up to you. One more minute, and we're gonna try to take it up. In the meantime, I'm gonna put the starting code. So, okay, let's take a look. My project deleted automatically. Oh no, what do you mean it deleted? Oh no, that's not fun. Sometimes my projects delete too. It's not very fun. I did upload the code on the, it's being updated regularly. I don't know why I'm not signed in, but glitch. Oh no. What you could do is this project is being shared on the Google Classroom. So in case you ever do lose your project, you can just open up this link and remix it, and then you'll have the same code as I do. So that way you don't have to start over.
Could you put the link in the chat?
Yes, I could definitely do that. Here you go. I'm sending the link in the chat. And you should be able to remix it and have everything that I have. Yes, Selena.
My project is like, it's gone. I'm looking through the stuff right now and I don't see it. It's not there.
Very weird. What is happening to Scratch? Why is it deleting your project? Huh. Okay, then I would recommend you to do the same thing as Roger. So you could just, I sent the link in the chat. You could just remix it. And then you'd have the same code as I do. And that way you don't have to start over. It's a good thing that we're able to remix. Okay, so let's take a look at this part. So I'm going to do the same stuff as before. So when green flag clicked, I am going to make sure that I am pointing in the direction 90 degrees. That means just straight, kind of looking normal. And I am also going to go to whatever position I placed him in. Okay, so even if I move him, every time I click the green flag, the dog goes to his starting position. Great. Now let's get into the actual pentagon. So again, same code as we did before. So this should be all the same to you. So you're going to set the pen color. I'm going to choose the blue color of the dog. I'm going to erase everything. I'm going to bring my pen up and I am going to go to the middle, which is 0, 0. So go to X, 0, Y, 0. I'm going to put my pen down, and then I'm going to set my pen size to 5. You can make it also thicker or thinner. And now we're gonna do the logic. So I'm gonna kind of break down the logic and how you could easily figure out how many degrees to turn, because sometimes that gets a little tough. I was trying to make a pentagon, but I made another shape on accident. That's really cool. There you go. Sometimes you try to do one thing and then you create another thing, and that's really great. So you could keep that shape and then just make a new animal for another shape. And then maybe you could show us your other shape that you drew. So in very simple terms, a full circle is 360 degrees. So the way that you could figure out sometimes how much to turn, we know that we have 5 sides to our shape. Where is it? Here. We know that we have 5 sides, pentagon, right? I can count this with my finger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 sides. I know I have to turn 5 times. So I'm going to go put a repeat block, and I'm going to say repeat 5 times. I know I want to move. I'm going to go to motion, and I'm going to say move 120 steps. Now, the way that we could figure out how much do I have to turn, because it's a little bit annoying trying to figure out. So I'm going to take the turn degrees, and the way that we can figure out is we can do 360 divided by the amount of sides that we have. So we have 5 sides. So if you type this into your calculator, you will get 72. So I know that in order to make this full shape, I have to turn 72 degrees. And now if I click, we see, I mean, well, he has to move one more side, but we see that it's a pentagon. And that's kind of how you would figure it out. So you're going to use the same logic for your, oh, this shouldn't be when green flag clicked. Should be when this right is clicked. This is going to be the same logic that you use to draw the hexagon. Yes, you're right. Thank you, Roger. Yes. Yes, Selena, do you have a question? There we go.
The pentagon, like it's on the side of the screen.
Okay, so you might have to, for me, it's also a little bit on the top. So what you might do is you might have to move around where the animal goes. So I'm going to do go to x0, y -30. And now when I click the dog, there we go. It's a little bit down. You can kind of play around with the coordinates of wherever you want it to show up. So wait 0.5 seconds. And now when I click the dog, it draws a pentagon for me. I'm going to probably also move the X a little bit to the left. There we go. It's a little better. And maybe even more down. There we go. Now that looks a little bit more centered for me. So you have to play around with the coordinates. So try to move around the go to 0, 0. Change that up if it's a little bit too high up or too low. But this is the logic that we use. So for the next shape, you're really going to do the same steps, the same loop, except you're not going to loop 5 times, you're going to loop 6 times, and you're not going to turn 72 degrees. You're going to do 360. If you have a calculator next to you, you could use that or Google it. You're going to do 360 divided by 6 for a hexagon. So that's going to be our next shape. So we drew our pentagon. Our next shape, where's the slides? Let me erase all of this, is a hexagon. So let's finish up this little portion really quickly. This we've done already a couple times. So I'm going to bring my pen up. I'm going to go to my initial starting position. So go to, and I am going to say something. I'm going to say here is a pentagon. Or you don't have to. There we go. We drew our pentagon. Now our last shape that we're going to be drawing is a hexagon. So I'm going to go into animals. I'm going to pick another animal. I'm going to pick, which one is cute? Let's do the ladybug. The ladybug looks funky. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to make it like 70. Not too small. Let's do 80. There we go. Perfect. And we're going to draw our hexagon. So again, hexagon. Yes, Selena, do you have a question?
I think the dog, it's like making a little curvish line.
Curvish line. Do you want to share your screen and show me? Okay, let's do that. Curvish line, let's see.
Can I see the Pentagon again?
Yes, I will show. So I'm just gonna help Selena out quickly.
That's what I see.
Oh, because your turn is empty. So make sure that you put turn, it should be 72.
Okay.
Yeah, try that now. There we go. And you'll have to change, instead of when green flag clicked at the very top, yeah, you have to change that to when the sprite is clicked, when this sprite is clicked. So just for the left one, yeah. So deattach it. So let me show you what I mean. I can share my screen and show you what I mean.
I'll stop share.
Sure. Okay, so what I meant, I did make this mistake and Roger told me, he pointed it out. So thank you. What I meant is for this little portion, you have to do when this sprite is clicked. So we want the animals to only draw when we click them.
I don't know how to remove it.
Okay, so yeah, it's a little bit tricky. So let me show you. So what you're gonna have to do is you're going to have to drag. So put your mouse on this very first block and you're gonna have to drag it down. And then you can take this out and put the when this sprite is clicked. So you just have to separate the two. Let me know if that works.
Still upside down.
Is the shape upside down, you mean?
Yeah, the shape.
Oh, okay, that's also a good point. So you have to make sure that you're turning to the left. So you see, so there's two turns. If I go to motion, there's turning clockwise and turning counterclockwise. So turning kind of in the right direction or turning in the left direction. So you have to make sure that for this one, you're gonna have to turn counterclockwise, which means to the left.
72 degrees?
72 degrees. So make sure that you have this little symbol here, not this one,
Right.
that one.
Now it drew a blob.
Okay, let's take a look.
Oh, I forgot something.
Huh. That's weird. So what happens when you click the dog?
Draws the same thing.
Okay, click him again. What is going on?
He keeps drawing the same thing.
Repeat 5. Yeah, that's what I have. Move 120 steps.
I forgot
Turn.
to add some blocks.
I'm just trying to see what. That's really weird. It's the same as mine. Why isn't it working? That is really weird. 1 second, I'm trying to see why it's not working. Move 120 steps, yes. You're gonna be turning 72 degrees. I'm gonna repeat that 5 times. That's the same as mine. How come it's not working? Do you have an extra block somewhere? Is it possible?
I don't. Everything I have.
That is so interesting.
Maybe I can try reloading the page.
Yeah, I tried doing that, but it looks fine to me.
I'm gonna try.
Okay, try reloading the page. Let's see if that fixes it. So go to the dog. Try clicking the dog again. That is So set pen color to erase all. Pen up, go to X. I have no idea why that's the same code as mine. Does anybody see something different than I do? It looks the same as mine. Interesting. I have no idea why that's acting so strangely.
I can try to add a new one to make it better.
So how about, okay, let me share my screen and then try to copy down the exact coordinates that I have. Maybe that could help. I'm thinking it might have something to do with where he's starting off. So try to get the same coordinates as I have over here.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave this up for a couple minutes. It's pretty interesting that it does that.
I'll let you know if it happens again.
Perfect, yes. And then we'll take another look at it. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a couple more minutes. Try to get the hexagon, it's very similar.
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay, let's take another look at your screen. That is really weird. Okay, let's see what happens when you click the dog. That is really interesting. Yes, Roger, do you see something that I don't?
Maybe she put, when the dog started drawing, maybe she put go to X12, Y120, like that the Y is too high, a little.
That's what I was thinking initially. Maybe the pen doesn't draw that high. So try doing go to X -30 and Y -60. Yeah, and that one. So try doing, yeah, try doing -30 for that one, for the left, for the XY. So for, instead of 12, do -30. Yeah.
30?
Yeah. And then for the Y, do -60.
Yeah.
Okay, try that. Maybe the pen doesn't draw that high, but that shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. I didn't know that was an issue, that the pen doesn't draw past a certain point. That I guess what it does is, since it doesn't draw past here, it kind of pushes the line, forces it to go in the in the other direction. So thank you, Roger.
I'll catch up.
You'll catch up. Okay, perfect. So let's do the next shape. So again, same idea. We are going to do. So this is going to be our last shape that we're going to do. So when green flag clicked, I am going to point in direction 90, and I am going to go to XY, whatever direction, whatever coordinates I have. And then now let's draw the shape. So same idea that we've been doing. When this sprite is clicked, I'm going to set the pen color to, do we have green? No, we don't have green. So let's do this ladybug green. And I am going to erase all. I'm going to bring my pen up and I'm going to go to the center and we can play around. So I learned something new. I didn't know that it doesn't draw past a certain point. So now it's going to go in the center. And now we want to put our pen down, and we're going to set our pen size to, let's say 5. That's kind of what we've been doing. Now we're going to do the same thing that we really did with the dog. I'm going to do a loop. I'm going to repeat 6 times, right? Because the hexagon has 6 sides. And the logic that we find, so I'm going to also move a certain amount of steps. I'm going to move, let's say 120 steps. You can make your shapes a little smaller. And I'm going to turn how many degrees? And the way that we figured that out is we say 360 divided by how many sides, which is 6. And this is going to give us, if you type this into Google, or if you have a calculator, it's going to give us 60. So we know we have to turn 60 degrees. So I'm going to take this turn, and I'm going to write 60 degrees. And now when we click the ladybug, we see it's a hexagon. I'm just going to put him a little bit down. I see that seems to be causing the issue. So I'm going to put him a little down. So I'm going to do, let's say y negative 30. There we go. That seems to fix the issue. But I'm also going to push him a little bit more down. Let's do negative 60 and a little bit to the left. So let's do negative 30. There we go. That looks much better. I didn't know that the pen doesn't draw at a certain point. That pushes it down. It's good to know. So now we have our hexagon. There we go. So just to finish it up, we're going to do pen up in here. We also could add a weight. Let's do weight 0.5, so half a second. And we are going to go back to our starting position. There we go. We're done. Those are all our shapes. Okay, so I'm going to leave this up for a couple minutes, and then we're going to move on to our mini project that you guys are going to do for the rest of today's class. And then if we have time, we'll do presentations today or possibly next class. I'll give you a minute to copy this down. Okay, let's go into the project. If you do still need to see it, let me know. I think
I still need to see
you still need it. Okay, no problem. Let me know when you're good. So this project is also up on the Google Classroom. So in case you want to check this finished project out, I did paste the link last week. So it's still the same link. Every time I save it, it gets updated. So.
You can stop. I can look it in the Google Classroom.
Okay, no problem. No rush at all. If you still need to see it, that's okay. I'm going to explain the project and then I'll put this back up so you can continue taking a look at it. Okay, perfect. So now that we kind of have an idea of how the pen works, you have time to explore with the loops and how all the different functions of the pen works. So now we're going to do a little mini project. Shouldn't take super duper long, but you're going to create a new project in Scratch, and you're going to use the pen extension to draw your initials. So you can get as creative as you want with it. I'm not super duper picky. I'm not giving you too much guidelines, but for me, my initials are KS. So you could do something like this. If you think initials are a little bit too hard, you could just do your first letter of your name. If you want to be a little bit, if you want to put a challenge, You could do your nickname. So my nickname is Cat, for example. So I could do Cat like this. That's a little bit tough. So if you could do your initials, that would be great. You could also just do the first letter of your name, or you could do your nickname. So this is our mini project. So you're going to open up a new project. You're going to use the pen extension to draw your initials. And you can be as creative as you want. You can have sprites in the background. You can choose a nice background for your entire Scratch project. And you should have more than enough time. We have about 15 minutes. So that should be enough time to kind of get that done. And then we could possibly share probably next week. I'll upload a Google slide with spots to put your link in, or we could share our screens next time. Or let me create a Google slide for us where we can all paste our mini projects. I'm gonna do that quickly. And then once you're done, you can just put your link in. If you were in my previous class, we did this for the end of the level 1. Okay, I'm just putting up a Google slide on Classroom. It's gonna have all of your names. Okay, so let me show you. So you probably remember this if you were in my previous class, but I'm going to paste this slide in the Google Classroom. So I'm going to be able to share it with all of you. And once you are done with your project, you can upload your link to this little Google slide. So let's say Claire finishes her project. She's going to make sure that your Scratch project is also public. And then you're going to paste your link here. And then next week, you can either share your screen. So if you don't want to paste the link, you could just say share screen, and that way I know that you want to share your screen next class, or I can share it for you. So let me paste this on the Google Classroom, and then once you're done, you can paste your link here. You can't make it public because you're using the app. Okay, no problem. You could share your screen if that's possible next class, or you could like take a screenshot of it and show us. Would that work? Okay, perfect. Awesome. Yes, Matt, do you have a question?
Yeah, how to copy the link?
Okay, I'll show you that right now. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. Google Slides for your Okay, so I pasted the link for the Google Slides. 1 second, I see your hand is up, Selena. So once you create your project, so let's say I have a project here that's not shared. Let me show you with a project that's not shared. Okay, perfect. Okay. So let's say I have this project over here. So once you're done using your project and you're done everything, you can click share. So this orange button over here, you should see a share button. So once you click that, you'll see your project is now shared. And then you could just copy the link at the top. So you should see a link at the top. When you click it, you can copy it. And then when you come into this Google link, you can just paste it here. So make sure that you're not copying your link from the editor page, because then we don't have access to it. So make sure you're copying it from this kind of home page. I believe this is what it's called. Yeah, project page. And that's how you share it. Does that make sense? Let me know if you need a little bit more help. It is a little bit tricky.
Can't find that.
You can't find the share button?
Yes.
Are you logged into an account?
Yeah.
You can't see a share button? Okay, share your screen. Let's take a look.